Hey, everybody. So this is Bob Saget's here for you, meaning I'm here to talk to people and whatever you want to talk about. So this is one of those days where you call that phone number that's listed up there, and I go and announce on Instagram stories or on Twitter that I'll be calling you guys in 2 days or tomorrow or today. And you leave messages at that number, and then I call you back, which is what I'm going to be doing today with people that I feel like talking to because you know what? We need to be here for each other. I'm in a very empathetic mood because it's been so deficient. Uh, and I know some people are like, well, I don't need to hear anybody else's point of view. But if people are hurting and people are angry, it's hard to deal with anger because a lot of times our response to anger is anger. And that doesn't really help. So it's very hard to rise above it. But I think we have to as a culture and as people and be strong and all that crap that you hear about that is true. So a lot of people are cynical about all of it, but I believe we have to care about one another. Come on, people, now smile on your brother. Everybody get together, got to love one another right now. And then they had an orgy, but that was when that song was popular. They did not have an orgy, by the way. I've never been to an orgy. If you have, please call me and tell me about it. Well, don't, but please. And so what you want to do is subscribe and rate and review this podcast or follow it if that's where you're doing it, wherever you get them. I know where you get them, at the dentist's office or at a clinic. Don't go to a free clinic. I mean, it's good to go to it, but if you need something. But if it's free, I don't know. What do you get at a free clinic? Hey, we can give you herpes for nothing. I don't think they give you diseases, though, right? I'm not too acquainted with how the medical field works. I'm going to make some calls. I'm going to call people and see how they're doing. And so with no further ado, I'm going to call somebody named Sadie. Let's see what's up with Sadie. I love when people call me. It's like, I guess my soothing voice or the fact that they know me from somewhere, that they saw me.
Hello?
Sadie, Bob Saget here. How are you?
Who?
Bob Saget, you left me a message on
No,
my...
I'm just kidding. I know.
I
I'm
like that.
joking.
Oh, you're hilarious. I had no idea. You had me going. You pranked me. I can't believe it.
Did I?
I can't. I feel like I'm on
How's it going?
Jackass right now, or I'm on Crank Yankers. Thank you.
Oh, Crank Yankers.
Yeah, that's still on.
Good.
They're still making it. Great people.
Yeah.
It's the
Are
real.
they really?
Yeah. Are there people around you? Are you quarantining with people? And what city are you in?
So, I live in North Carolina. I moved here from Washington State 9 years ago.
Right.
And before that, I was born. I do have to mention I was born in Philadelphia.
There we go.
So
That's where I was born.
My mom went to Temple. Yeah. So
that's where I went to Temple. Do I know your mom? You sound too young. She's probably too young. You're not my daughter.
I'm not sure if I even know my mom.
Oh, there you go. Have you talked to your mom?
So, I actually talked to her yesterday.
Where does she live?
Recently, Washington State. My family lives in Washington State.
And so you moved to North Carolina for what reason?
Love, of course.
That's awesome. So you just love North Carolina?
No, my husband's in the military, and at the time, we had just gotten done doing 2 years of long distance, and I decided to move down to North Carolina. So he's down here and is in the military, and I am the poster child Army wife.
And where is he right now? You're not together right now, right? He's stationed?
He's home. He's actually home right now.
Oh, that's awesome. So when he's home, does he get like a lot of Army figures and play with them, like in the living room?
I actually had to put a stop to that.
Because
because
it looked like Toy Story, right?
it was getting too weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Is he doing okay? Because first thing, tell him
he,
thank you for his service. When you talk to him, tell him Bob really means it. So,
I I absolutely will. What is it? Yeah, he's doing great. We've done 10 deployments together. He's been overseas quite a bit. I want to say.
are
So
are
he's
are
just
you also in the service?
no, I'm not.
Oh, but
No,
you
I'm
said
a
together,
no.
so I thought maybe you were deployed also. So that'd be cool.
Oh, I mean, since him and I have been together, sometimes I do fly over there just to check on him, just to make sure he's not up to anything.
So it's not to make sure of
No,
his
I'm just kidding.
safety; it's to make sure he's not up to debauchery.
Yeah, not messing around. I don't know, but yeah, since we've been together, we've done quite a bit of, we've done a lot of deployments or trips overseas, um, and it's really, I don't know if it's funny. I have to laugh about it. This is the most he's been home, and we're now in quarantine together.
So
So,
you would say, would you say that quarantine, and I've heard this from some people, has actually you've benefited from it because you've gotten to spend some, even though we all go a little crazy, you've been able to be together more than you would have been?
mm, I'll be honest, and I'm not a selfish person. Um, but this time for me as an individual has been, and it's going to sound terrible and it's going to sound crazy,
Well, that's
but
me, so I'm the guy
um,
to tell
it's
that to.
okay. Perfect. Um, it's gotten me. It's changed me. I've been thriving in a way. I have. It's made me realize all of the things that I would like to be doing, and it's made me appreciate um, what I have and time and family a lot more.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that
and
is.
being, yeah, not to interrupt, but sorry.
No, I interrupted.
Um,
I interrupted. You were talking. I just got excited because I'm of like mind.
yeah, I have had anxiety and depression my entire life,
I understand that too.
and this, so I've learned tools to help with that, and now I think everybody is going through the exact same thing, and so it's really helped it sounds so bizarre, it doesn't make sense, but my depression anxiety has actually gotten worse because it's almost, or excuse me, better because
It's
this
gotten
fire has
better.
been lit. Yeah. That sounds
It's a
bizarre.
forced calm. It's a forced reboot. It's a forced reset that we would not ever do in our lives. And here we are, except for the people that are in a petri dish pool drinking and screaming and spitting into each other's mouths because they don't understand that it is scientifically a real disease that yes, 2% people could die from it, but they think that doesn't matter, which is insane. But that aside, the fact that you're able to appreciate this time, that is huge. That's a huge realization and self-awareness. So I think
I and
it's beautiful, actually.
well, I'll be honest, and positive, there is such a thing where someone is so positive. The people that are so positive, happy all the time, and you just want to punch them in the face.
Well, you don't
Like,
have to because
come on.
they're not that
Don't,
happy. They are.
I know.
Well, some of them I respect so much because they're trying to be positive. So they're working at it. So there's a lot of effort that goes into that because truthfully, it's easier to be depressed in my experience than it is because you go down the rabbit hole and you're just gone. And I was depressed my whole 20s. I mean, I should have been on meds, but I wasn't. And then now I kind of wake up, even if I haven't slept enough, like I didn't last night. I try to wake up positive in the morning and think of something good, like I love my wife, uh, or if if we had an argument, that we resolve it as quickly as possible. Because when you're cooped up with somebody, she's out of town right now because I'm enough to take, and so she's with her family, which is good. But good for
I
her.
need to know.
Yeah, I mean, you'll appreciate this time forever because it doesn't happen because it's every 100 years.
No.
Pandemics are every 100 years unless something crazy happens, and I'm not going to get all paranoid and say things like another country could turn off our satellites so we don't have the web. We can't go online.
The internet, and then what?
Yeah,
no,
right.
I thought it's crazy what you put your energy into. Because I know if I start thinking about that exact same thing, like, oh my gosh, what if this happens, and worrying, I feel terrible.
Worry is a waste of time, and it is a perfect storm. Everything seems to be happening at the same time. Everything upsetting, everything where the world is at each other, and the U.S. is having so many issues, and they're from social, racial, political, religious.
Yeah.
I don't know why religion has to enter politics. The two things on a date you don't talk about is religion and politics, and that's all we talk about, and it's not healthy. But we have to talk about it so that we can resolve it. But try to be positive, but not like you're saying, like the fake positive. It's like, it's all going to be fine. My mother was like that. You're like, you'll see, everything's going to be great. And I'm like, okay. Then why am I so scared? And when are the locusts coming, Mom? Because everything else.
But that's where I think comedy comes in. I think, so that's been one of my, to make things easier, I've been learn to make jokes and make fun of it. And
You're smart.
And it's crazy. I know I've heard how hard it is to think about things that are funny, to write comedy, to be creative. But laughter, how it originates from, it's a response to fear or a warning.
It definitely it can diffuse fear when in the right hands. It is a response, and I'll say the most dark comedy. I did stand up for the first time last night since March, and I did it in front of 20 people, all wearing masks, and I could hear the laughs, and I loved it. And I said things I shouldn't have said. I mean, you don't make COVID jokes, but you do if it's to diffuse it, because that's the pain. The pain is the COVID. And if you're making a joke about it, that's part of, that's how I deal with pain. That's why I lost so many people in my life that died. I didn't lose them. They died. Losing is different. That's where you actually should keep tabs on people. But when people pass on, if I make a gallows joke, some people do not laugh at death humor because it comes purely from pain, like you're saying. So I'm doing my part in trying to so you're trying to add light through humor is what you do, right?
Yes. So that's, I have been usually, for the most part, a lot of my life, I've been very unsure about what I want to do, and I haven't had a lot of confidence in things. But I have always maybe thought a little bit differently about things. And I feel like that is my superpower, what I've been through, because I know that I shouldn't really have the life that I have right now. I have been not knowing where I was going to sleep or hungry, and just, everyone has their stories. But
so you're saying you're it's a miracle that you're where you're at right now with a man that you love.
I have never really picked anything. Like, I've never pursued any real career. I've done 1,000 jobs, and then I've gone back to school. But I've always been very passionate about writing, and I've always put that off, writing and comedy. And I've kept putting it off because it's not a real dream.
Is it a real dream, though?
It's, of course, but what I would tell myself is that It's not like a grown-up thing that
No,
you do.
well, that's incorrect, because I'll tell you right now, I do interviews with people, and they started saying, I want to be a writer, and I'll do an interview with someone who's 25 years old, 30 years old, whatever, and it'll
Well,
be...
I'm 17.
You're 17?
No, I'm joking.
That'd be so hilarious.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, we can't talk any longer. No, because you're married to a man in the service. So let's see. Is that why you moved to North Carolina?
There's no rule book in 2020. If it's taught us anything, the rules are out the window. You can marry whoever you want.
Oh, so everybody's
No
forgiven
rules.
all their horrible dating underage people? That horrible, heinous thing that happened, that's all forgiven because 2020 is just garbage?
I guess it depends who you know, honestly.
You really need to work for the government. You could help a lot of people right now.
No, thank you.
Exactly. But I'm saying you could, all you got to do is write. Oh, seriously, all you have to do is write. You could write an article, and I'm telling you, Sadie, you could write something and submit it to a place. I mean, Huffington Post takes things. I mean, there's many, many publications that would take an op-ed if you wanted to write, and then you got a sample.
I did, but I just started taking classes at Second City, and I actually got into a program there during COVID. So that has been it's been a transformation.
That is an amazing thing to do. Is there a Second City in North Carolina?
No, it's all online.
Well, just hang in there and do what you're doing. And it sounds like you've got the fact that you fell in love and you got a great husband. That's wonderful. And if he treats you good, that's the whole shooting match not shooting match. You don't want to have that.
Oh,
with him.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sending you my best during this time. I'm sorry I couldn't talk longer. I could talk to you all day, but I've got to go. I got to deal with it.
Okay, well, you have my phone number now, so you just call anytime. Anytime you need some life advice.
Well, what you should do is, if you want to talk to me again and you have something else to talk about, or we go into the future as we move forward, give a call, leave a message, and I'll call you back, and we'll do it when I do another one of my calling my lovely people.
I might have to start charging you, though, for material. So.
Yeah, by then you're going to have a lot going on. I want to hear that you wrote something or something cool happened or whatever, but I want that to happen.
Okay.
All right, and tell your husband a pleasure, and thanks for thanks for letting him release you from the kitchen to talk to me.
Yeah, that was a joke. No, I was kidding.
I love that I was kidding. That's everybody's favorite thing.
Okay, good. Everyone's so nervous to make jokes right now. It's very scary.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
I appreciate it, Bob.
I said terrible things last night on stage. It felt good. So
all right.
You just take care of yourself.
Okay.
Don't feel bad. Don't be apologetic, and just move forward and keep that funny thing you got going, because it's nice.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Sadie.
I hope you have a great day. Thanks
you
for
too.
calling and talking. I appreciate it. And I hope the rest of your podcast goes great.
Thanks so much. Have a really good day. And thanks for talking to me. Be well.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Right, bye.
Bye. Well, we will be right back after this message. That's what we're going to do. Hey, we're back. And boy, those were good messages. But those are the best sponsors I've ever experienced. This is somebody I've called before. Her name is Leanne, and she is a special ed teacher. And she is very lovely. And she was stressed out over what's going on right now. And I'm going to try to bring a little happiness to her and see if I can, because I have a cousin that I care about so much, and he is a very special adult, and I love him very much. And so, I don't know. Hi, it's Bob Saget calling you again, Leanne. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Bob?
Thank you. Thank you for talking to me. So what's going on? Last time we talked, you were feeling stressed out, and I would imagine with quarantine continuing, what's the status with where you're at? And where do you live again?
I live in Sacramento.
Right.
I'm doing yeah, I'm doing okay. It is kind of stressful being a special education teacher because I work in different schools and like they all have different roles and they keep changing them. So it's really crazy.
Is it Zoom or are you in person with these people?
Zoom. Thank God not in person because schools are petri dishes. I wouldn't want to go in person.
Yeah, and a lot of people
Not safe,
are
you know?
going back in and being forced to go back in, and some are, really upset about it. But it depends on where you are, also. But it's a very difficult situation, really difficult. And I would think that
It is.
our special is it mostly children or adults when you're is it younger people or all ages?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm a specialist, so I work with basically from 3 years old to 22 years old. So I have a huge spectrum I work with.
That's amazing. What a great
So,
what a great person you are. What a
oh, thank you.
well you are. You are.
Aw.
You're doing as people would say, I don't say these things, but it's the Lord's work. You're doing something very, very wonderful for humanity. It's so nice because so many people are not. There's not a lot of
Yeah,
empathy is kind of deficient right now. And
it is. It's pretty scary.
it
Yeah.
is. It is, and you have it. And so what's the I mean a 2-year-old, that's such an interesting age to have that
Yeah.
situation. And how do you deal with that as that person gets older? Do you stay with them as that teacher for a couple years? How does that
Um,
work?
yeah, because I'm actually a teacher of the visually impaired, so I'm a specialist. So it depends where the family decides to live and what school system they want their child to be in. Because I work for Sacramento County, so we contract out to different school districts. And then depending on where they live, and I've had one student 3 years now. And so it's been interesting to see his progression. And he actually, the only way I could get him to do some of his Braille lessons was to write someone that we both know in Braille. It's kind of funny. So that's the only way he would do his lesson was to write to Michael Rosenbaum to Lex and do that.
Oh,
But
that's
that was one way
hilarious.
inspired.
Michael must have loved
Yeah,
that. Michael's a good man.
he is. I think he did. I think he still has it. I don't know. Sometimes his memory's not the greatest. I love him, but the
Right.
short-term memory's not always 100%. But he said he did. So yeah, that was just one example of my children that it's definitely interesting. Some of them stay with me, some of them move. It depends more on the families and how they're doing.
So these people
And we're just
they're both challenged mentally, and they have no sight. Is that correct?
yes, a lot of my kids. Well, it depends. They're on a spectrum because visual impairment can be like you're colorblind, and you can still see, or so I do with the whole spectrum from like very little, where they have like a lot of sight, and then some kids that are totally blind, and so then you have to really think about everything because you're dealing with the whole human, not just the sight aspect, even though that's what I specialize in.
Right.
So then I have to make sure I'm working with the whole educational team too, speech pathology, orientation, mobility, occupational therapy, the whole thing, to make sure they get the whole package and that we're servicing these children. So it's a lot.
That's so wonderful.
But,
That's just a miracle.
thank you. Yeah.
It's is there and it said in the notes that you were still stressed out. Is the stress caused by your work, which obviously could cause that, because where do you put your energy after taking in so much from other people that you're helping, or is it the whole quarantine and state of the world right now?
Actually both, because it's kind of like they're feeding off of each other, especially with work, because we're trying to, be cognizant and do the distance learning, but then with kids that learn Braille, right? I can't exactly do one-on-one stuff. So then that puts more pressure on the parents because then they have to teach their kids, but they don't have my specialization in teaching Braille. And oh my God, it's literally like cyclical. So it one feeds off the other. And so then, yeah, it ups my stress level too.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something.
Do you have family members? Do you have friends? Are you able to vent and be with others or talk with others, socially distant or whatever, however you're doing it? Are you able to socialize?
Somewhat. I've been able to socialize at work. We're in the office right now, so I have a couple of friends. We've been venting off each other. But this is the first time a lot of us have been back in a while. And then I have some people from the other podcast I listen to. There's a group of us that talk a lot online, so that's been cool. But
what's the other podcast?
I do the best I can. Inside of You with Rosenbaum.
Oh, that's the one. Yes, he is the one.
He is the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're my second favorite podcast. I love it, but that one's always number one. Sorry.
No, I love Michael, and he's been doing it a lot longer than me. I'm in 40 plus episodes. So, I mean, he is, he's got a very great mind and he cares a great deal. And I'm coming from the same place because I care so much. So it's not just something like, hey, I can't do a TV show right now, so I'm going to do a podcast for a while, and then as soon as the TV show goes back, I can't do the podcast. That's not how I function. I will do this forever. It's like a hard drive that just is something that I love doing. I love talking to people and hearing where they're at. And so when you called, were you feeling more stressful than you are today?
Yeah, I was a bit more. Now I'm doing a little better because I'm around my friends and, I've increased my exercise a bit and just really, I'm trying to do a lot of self-care, but I also like to pick other people's brains. If they have any other good ideas too, I would love to hear from them and, take that in as well.
Right.
So.
But you're a great person, and I'm really happy you called, and I'm glad you're over the stress. So when you called, you were like, you were really feeling, things were hitting you hard. I'm glad you called me, and I'm glad you're in a better place, and that makes me happy.
Me too. Yeah, me too. Definitely. You have a very soothing voice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's kind of, I used to be more frenetic, and as I've gotten older, it became more of the narrator of How I Met Your Mother.
Right, yeah.
Well, give me a holler if you need me again, Leanne.
I will definitely. Yeah.
I'm here for you.
You're a great help to me.
After you contact Michael Rosenbaum, call me. Put me on.
I'm going to tell him you said that.
Absolutely. Michael and I have been friends for years, so it'll make me very happy.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Bob. It's always good talking to you.
You too. Take care, Leanne.
You too. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
She's a lovely person. Anybody's lucky to have her in their life. And that's just from a phone call. And we'll be right back. This is going to be Steve. He had questions about Dirty Work and directing Chris Farley.
Hello?
Hello there. Steve, Bob Saget here.
Bob, thank you so much for calling back. I feel like such a doofus here.
No, you're perfect.
Oh, perfect. You know what? I'm putting it on my resume. Bob Saget says I'm perfect.
You are. Put it right there. You can tell them. You can lead with it. Lead with it when you go and apply.
I will. No, so I edit video, but phone's always on like the counter, and I'm sitting there editing my work. So it's like, I just wasn't looking.
So where are you? Where are you located?
Chicago.
Oh, that's awesome. That's where my wife is right now. Tell her hi. She's at some corner somewhere. No, that's not nice. She said I could do that joke. It's terrible.
It's funny. It cracks me up. So, I was asking about Chris Farley, and I'm like fidgeting my fingers the way he used to do on the Chris Farley show.
Oh, it's
So tell me, like,
unbelievable. I quote it all the time. I'll say something to somebody and then I'll go, why did I say that? And I'll pull my hair out and I'll go, damn it, I'm so stupid. And we all do that. We all literally think that we did something wrong or said something wrong to somebody. And sometimes we did, but that's life. And he was being Chris. That was just Chris being Chris and talking to Paul McCartney and, you were with the Beatles, But this was was he one of your favorites?
He was one of my favorites. Gosh, he was. I'm built similar to Chris, and so as a kid, because I grew up in the '90s, as a kid, it was kind of like, oh, it's a little bit more comfortable, where maybe I can, mimic Chris and the good things that he was doing on stage, and kind of help me out a little bit. So he certainly was one of my favorites, and I just saw David Spade a couple years ago at the Comedy Store. I'm like, oh my God, again, I had one of those moments. It was just great.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy Boy and Black Sheep, these are, classics between the two of them. Chris was, I directed Dirty Work, as you know, and it was the last movie that Chris was in. And it was, his health wasn't great, but he was beyond sweet, beyond wonderful. His talent was ridiculous. He played it pretty straight. I just said, let's play this like a Sam Shepard play or movie. And he totally got it. And he was out of the gate perfect. And one of the funniest people that's ever lived. And it's just completely tragic that we've lost him. It is beyond sad. And he was like a little kid. And then, of course, as all comedy people, the devils come in at night, and they manifest in different ways until you learn how to deal with them. And unfortunately, he didn't get a chance to get to that place to deal with them. And everybody that loves him was trying to help. He was just a miracle. And there isn't anything that he did that you don't have these crazy memories of. He's just the most lovable guy. You probably are too. If you're just be kind to yourself and be healthy. You want to be healthier than Chris. I hope you are.
Yeah. So far, I mean, I think I outlived him by a year. So I'm happy about that there's that. But yeah,
well, you got to live like another. You're a young man. You need to live another 70 years. So you got. Yeah, you have a responsibility, and I would just say drink a lot of water.
Oh my God!
Try not to go for those chicken wings. Try not to. Just slap your hand.
Bear claws, two in each.
Too many what?
I said bear claws.
Oh, bear claws are.
No.
They're the devil's work. They're so good and so terrible. I don't eat that stuff. I just don't like. I used to love donuts as a kid and bear claws and all that. And then anything glazed started to feel like pornography to me, so I stopped.
Well, you have to go to confession every time you have a glazed donut.
Yeah, that's really smart because they have a hole in it and they're glazed. So it's just
true.
I mean, it's porn food. So do you have a job and are you taking care of yourself? And what is it?
Yeah, so I'm very extremely fortunate. I tell everyone this every day. I'm a video producer. I prior to COVID, I was traveling the country and actually the world. I was very fortunate to go to a few other countries and film and edit healthcare information technology news pieces. And when COVID hit, we laterally moved over to Zoom and we filmed interviews on Zoom. And then I resized like the Zoom boxes. So we kind of reformat the boxes and make the aspect ratio look nice and aesthetically pleasing. And so
you have a real career, man. You're doing great.
I know. Yeah, no, I usually go out on the weekends to do some walking, cardio, what have you, and even just drive my car. And I don't go to places. And the one weird thing about COVID is that I wasn't already missing seeing people. I'm like, do I really have to go? I would look for reasons to avoid certain social instances, and now I could just be like, oh man, it's COVID. I got to be safe. So, I went to school for television production, and I'm very fortunate that wasn't for load, and still using that college degree. And
I did that too. I went to Temple University, and I went to film school, and I ended up making a student film, and I won a Student Academy Award, and I learned how to do TV production. So those schools can really pay off, especially when you have hands-on experience. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that and just persistence, because I'll tell you, on a story, 7 years ago, I was a janitor and a freelancer, like freelance camera guy, but a janitor too. And now I'm full-blown like videographer, video producer type. And dreams do come true. You just got to be really persistent. I've had a lot of pretty cool freelance opportunities as well. And so it's very humbling.
That's amazing to you, that's amazing to me that you were a janitor and and to open it, to be able to be a janitor and then still do what you want to do, is a testament to everybody. Everybody should listen to that. There's no job too small. And you can still look where you are now. And you're probably really good at cleaning a toilet, which is kind of valuable.
I am great. I took notes throughout. There was this one sitcom in the 90s. I don't remember the name of it, but there was a guy who really liked to clean. And so I took his notes.
Well, it was either Schneider from One Day at a Time, which they're doing a redo of, The Handyman, or me on Full House, or what that was ripped off from was The Odd Couple, which was Felix Unger, who was everything had to be clean. He was always cleaning, so that was just a ripoff. What I did, but yeah, I'm glad you took notes from television.
Always. I'm a kid of the 90s. That's what our parents did. They're like, yeah, go watch some TV. So,
yeah, and those were shows you could watch. You didn't have a problem with it. It wasn't like turning on Netflix and seeing people beheaded and a million people naked in a room. Not that that's bad, but it's funny. I'll do the podcast and I'll have someone like Bill Burr on, and the conversation will get quite graphic. And I just did one with Jim Jeffries, and it's R-rated stuff. And then I'll look in the YouTube notes, and someone will say, "I'm 9." That's their answer, and it's like, oh shit. What have I done? I just made this person 12. So, did you have a question for me besides the Chris thing? I mean, you just loved him, right?
I did just love him, and I guess the only question I had is, you probably already addressed this. Was he coachable? Was he resistant?
Oh, he was a total professional, unbelievable professional. Even if he played somebody who in a sketch or something that was more despicable, it was impossible not to love him. I mean, when you say his name, people get very sad that he's gone. So sad. And the way you mentioned Robin Williams, you get sad. Somebody that brings you that much joy. And just him, and you were talking about body image, not saying that verbatim, but I mean, him and Patrick Swayze doing the Chippendales thing on Saturday Night Live, that's ingrained in our brains forever. We will never forget it. It will always be a piece of comedy history, just as many, many scenes in Tommy Boy, the whole movie. I mean, Black Sheep was the same for me, and I'll never forget my experiences with him on Dirty Work. I just loved him tremendously. He's got wonderful brothers, and I can't say enough, and I'm really happy that you loved him. And I would just say for you, because we are losing people in the world that aren't watching. It's never too late to watch your diet a little more and to take care of yourself a little better. And I'm not trying to preach, because that doesn't help, and I don't want to frustrate you, but I want you to be around. I want to talk to you in 10 years on this podcast, or maybe I'll be doing stand-up and you'll come see me do it. I don't know. Where is 630? Where is that?
It's that's a suburb of Chicago.
Oh, it's a suburb. Okay.
Yeah, so that's my phone number from way back before I moved to the city. So it's 22 miles west of Chicago.
Got it. Well, I love it around there, and I've been throughout the whole area. And they've been going through a real difficult time. And so my heart goes out because I've got family there. I've got a lot of family there, and I know I have a lot of friends there. So I just wish this world would start healing itself, And
Absolutely. And your words are totally encouraging. It certainly, like, and genuinely mean it from bottom of my heart, was not like, oh, he's lecturing. No, it was encouraging. And I guess, like, one thing I'm also curious about is how are you doing? Because I feel like you're very, like, heartfelt, and you're, like, reaching out to so many people, but is things going well for you?
That's so sweet. That's so nice of you. People don't ask me that too much. Some people do. I've got my own stressors, There's people I care about that are going through a hard time. I'm very fortunate in that, I don't mind quarantine that much. And my podcast is running itself. I care more about how my kids are doing. Two are in New York, one's in LA. I get concerned with my wife because she travels for work some. And she's, she doesn't do anything illegal. She's above board. She doesn't hang out. She doesn't work in hotel lobbies, but she does cool work. And so that concerns me a little bit. And I'm concerned about the world in general. I get stressed when I watch the news to the point where I'm so passionate and sensitive that I yelling at the TV is like one of the worst things you can do for your heart and your brain. And then I'm trying to take care of myself with diet, which is, I was talking to Bill Maher the other day, and it's all about it. You just got to stop eating this shit. And that's a hard one. And I know that you grapple with it. And it's very nice of you to have shared that with me too, because that can be, it's very sensitive. And I've always been sensitive. My weight has been string bean, from 30 to 40 and then up and down. And right now I'm pretty down, and not depressed, but, thinner. My head swells up every 3 years. If I'm going through a lot of stress, if somebody I care about is not well, I tend to, you put exercise on the back burner, and that's something that can't be done. So taking walks is good right now if you can. And, drinking a lot of water, good water, not the bad water, not the stuff forget the janitor days. Those are over. You don't drink that water. That's muddy mop water. Do not drink mop water. I can't stress it enough to the listeners. But thank you for asking. I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I've been getting back into my comedy chops. I got some work things I'm working on, which are always good to keep the mind going. It sounds like you're doing good too, with your work.
I saw you got to perform. How was that to perform for the first time? You said since March, right?
Yeah, it was amazing. There were 20 people in the audience. They had masks on, which made me happy. They weren't close to the stage and they weren't close to each other. So it felt safe, and it was a nice studio space. And my friend Tom Papa suggested it, and I was actually thrilled to be doing it. It was, there's a really good actor, Greg Grunberg, who you've probably seen in a bunch of stuff, and he was it's his studio, and it was just set up perfectly. We all had our own mic, although I touched every one of them. I Purelled every 5 minutes, but it was really nice to be out there. I was supposed to be on a tour all year and then do a special by 2 months from now. I was ready to go, but I'm glad I didn't, because the aftermath, when I'm able to do it next year, when we're through the worst of this, and we have whatever methods work, if a vaccine works and all that stuff, and we get back. I mean, I'm inching myself back because, every inch counts for me. It's very important. My wife would have left me if I was on the metric system. Oh, no, she would have stayed with, that's why she left town. That's why she's in Chicago, because she measured me with a metric side of the ruler. But yeah, it's just, I just want to make people feel good right now. And I've got a mission to it, because it's kind of where I'm coming from. And it sounds like you're a very kind person too. Just take care of you. That's all I got for you.
Yeah, I love it. I'm very, it's just honestly makes my week. And thank you so much for calling me back. I really felt, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just felt so silly. But thank you so much for calling back.
It's a pleasure. I'm really happy I talked to you. Thanks so much, Steve. Take care of yourself.
You as well. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye.
Right.
Well, that was good. I got that. I actually processed Processed potato salad is horrible. It's like that processed macaroni salad. It's just all mayonnaise, all cream, all goes right to you're screwed. You're screwed. It clots your blood and then you die. Anyway, on that happy note, thanks for listening. This was a very interesting episode. It was had quite a lot of different emotions in it for me personally. Do what you do. You subscribe, you follow, you rate, review. You can comment, all positive, all good thoughts. When you say something negative, you can do it. I mean, if you're right and constructive, I'll take it. But if it's mean, I don't know. Could block it. I don't think so. Life's too short. Unless you do hate speech. I don't do hate. I don't do negative. So, but I do like to do positive. And I like suppositive. I like suppositories. So that's what before I do a broadcast or a podcast, I call it a broadcast because I'm old school. And it is a broadcast, man. It goes out to a lot of people. And it's a cast. Why do they call it a cast? It's like you're casting your line. I don't know. Potato salad, right? So take care of yourselves and give me a call on days like when I do this. Just hit up the Instagram stories number, or I also post it on Twitter. And I love calling you guys, and I love talking to you. And what I get back from you is so much more than what I put out. So I don't put out anymore. I'm married, but you just take care of yourselves and those that you love. And take care of you so you can be good for others. You know, all that Hallmark shit that I actually mean. So, and don't be too cynical because there's still goodness left in the world. And let's try to get rid of the hate, right? Take it easy. Bob Saget's Here For You is now concluded at this moment. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night. Bye-bye.